Hello, my name is Andy and I am the Village Idiot. I'm armed with a car and a GoPro and an unhealthy amount of time on my hands. I'm using that time to attempt to visit every civil parish in England. You're watching the North Warwickshire series, a borough with 33 parishes right at the northern tip of Shakespeare's county. Let's dive in and see where we are today. Welcome back to North Warwickshire again, everybody. As you can see, we're beginning this episode outside a church. However, this won't be our first thing to talk about because we will catch this church from the rear of its churchyard. It's a nice circular route, this one. And this route will also take in the remains of a castle. Welcome to Seckington. Here's my disclaimer for people who may be watching me for the first time. I say things as I would in my native accent and dialect. As a result, I may not pronounce things in the same way as the locals do. Remember, I'm a visitor. It's impossible to know everything. Leave me a comment, spin me a like and bash that subscribe button. Let's get to today's parish video. Welcome to Seckington, a small village with a lot of history located to the northeast of Tamworth. With its parish boundary forming part of the Warwickshire-Staffordshire border, Seckington village is the second most northerly settlement in Warwickshire, with only No Man's Heath situated further north. It shares a parish council with No Man's Heath and Newton Regis. The Domesday Book records Seckington as Secintone, describing it as a vill, probably one of the many that was once owned by Wulfric Spot. There are several stories associated with early medieval Seckington. These include the tale of a gruesome murder, that of King Aethelbald, who met his fate here in 757 AD, according to the Anglo Saxon Chronicles. Seckington's medieval history is also on show quite prominently thanks to the remains of a motte and bailey castle constructed in the late 11th or early 12th century. It was built for or for the son of the Earl of Meulan, the powerful Norman nobleman known as Roger de Beaumont. The village's standout feature is by far the Church of All Saints. Its tall spire, which looms over the village, can be seen for miles around. Other than the church, Seckington has 4 other listed buildings, a curious rocky outcrop, a popular farm shop, and a 300-acre campsite where you can stay in some funny-shaped cabins. Shall we check it all out? Of course. Let's go. We begin on Church Lane outside the Church of All Saints, which occupies a prominent position on a hill in the middle of the village. The church is for later though. Our first task is to walk down to Hangman's Lane, passing some farm buildings on the way. Halfway down the road there's a parish notice board on a wall. Mark off Seckington everyone, 30 to go in North Warwickshire. At the end of the road there's a set of steps which seemingly lead nowhere. However, I was curious, so I went for a look. I was to find 7 luxury ensuite glamping cabins owned by Wigwam Holidays. This is the 300-acre big Saxon Meadow. From here you get a good view of the 18th century church farmhouse, one of Seckington's 5 Grade 2 listed buildings. Another of the 5 is Rock Farmhouse. This one is a little older, having been built in the 17th century. Its name is interesting. Nearby there's a rocky outcrop on both sides of the road, and presumably it's this that gives the house its name. After climbing the slight ridge upon which Seckington stands, we're on the B5493 again. Opposite us is the road to Thorpe Constantine. If you were to follow this to the west, you'd be heading towards Tamworth. You'd also be heading for the site of Seckington Castle. Now, I know there are people out there who do follow my exact routes when they come to visit these places themselves. If you get to this point, you might find yourself a little bit sort of scratching your head because the road seems to go off into the distance. There is a gate here which leads towards the remains of Seckington Castle. It's just a little bit hidden, that's all. There's also, beware, a little hole here, so watch your step is all I'm going to say. So we come over this little hole like so, and then up a fairly steep sided bank to get to the gate itself. And as you can see, we are on a public footpath over private land. Take nothing but photographs, leave nothing but footprints. Please stay on the footpath and keep dogs on a lead. Well, I don't have a dog, but I have got a camera, if that counts. Right, so on the footpath we are, and there you can see the remains of Seckington Castle, the familiar castle mound that we're used to seeing, these old castles. Let's talk a bit about this as we head for the back of the church next. Here we see the remains of Seckington Castle, a motte and bailey effort believed to have been built in 1140 or earlier. Surrounded on three sides by traces of ridge and furrow cultivation, this mound is 30 feet high and about 150 feet in diameter. The castle, of course, is long gone, but it was built for the powerful Norman nobleman Roger de Beaumont or his son Robert. De Beaumont was a distant cousin and close advisor to William the Conqueror. He was nicknamed La Barbe, which means the bearded. Very little else is known of the castle's history. It's believed to have been wooden. I've linked a bit more sketchy history below. The castle is on private land, so as much as it may be tempting to stand on the mound, you have to walk past towards the church. The path runs directly into the churchyard, and here we can see the base of the tower at All Saints. Let's have a closer look. Okay, let's see if the church is open there. I haven't been able to get into any churches yet so far today, so will Seckington book that trend? Nope, because it's locked. In fact, there's actually a notice on the door that says about the church being open. Welcome to All Saints Seckington. We can open the church for visitors and groups by arrangement on any day of the week. A short guided tour is available, led by the church warden, and refreshments can be provided. And there's your contact number and where to go with if you want to get in and have a look around. I'm not too fussed about that right now though, because I've still got this village and another one to do while I'm here in Warwickshire today. So we'll just walk around on the outside and talk about the church next. Grade 2 listed, All Saints is probably mid to late 13th century in origin, but was significantly altered in a late 19th century restoration. The tower and spire were rebuilt in 1883, reusing much of the original material. Its bell openings are early English. There are 4 bells in the tower, the earliest of which is the treble, cast by Robert Mellors of Nottingham in about 1520. Monuments here include an effigy of a lady in early 14th century dress, and outside on the south wall of the nave is a scratched mass dial. There are 3 entrances to the churchyard. These steps are a continuation of the footpath and lead down to Church Lane. Here I'm pointing out to you our original starting point. We've come around the castle and the church in a full circle. Now it's time to go the other way. The footpath continues south through this opening, which runs into a farmyard. This is Old Hall Farm, a complex of buildings which date from the 18th century through to the last known modernisation in 1976. Okay, so now we are on the green, and from here it's pretty simple. I just have to walk down the green, turn left, and then back along the road towards the church. And that is Seckington. It's a very small place, not really much to see here. However, on the green here, there are a few things I do want to talk about. One of them is what you can find here at Old Hall Farm. Apparently, there's some fruit for sale over there, some damsons, and some plums, according to that sign right there. Sounds tasty. Old Hall Farm was previously known as Seckington Old Hall, and they do indeed have damsons and plums for sale. You can buy more than that in Seckington though. Not far away you'll find the entrance to Four Shires, which is a farm shop. Of course, its name is a reference to the meeting point of all 4 counties in this area. Here's their sign on the actual green itself. It has some glowing online reviews, but I came here on a Tuesday, the one day of the week that it's not open. Typical. Seckington's speed limit, by the way, is 40. Based on my short amount of time here, it seems there are speeding issues in this place. Before you know it, we're back to the corner of Church Lane, having completed the walk around Seckington. Cracking little village. And here we are, back to where we began. What a beautiful little village this has been. So here's the church from the other side. There it is. Family worship at Sunday at 10:30. Everybody welcome, according to that sign right there. And I just want to point out one last thing. Right next to the church, you've got the old rectory. They're never too far away, are they? To finish with, we're following the B5493 out of the parish, and once again we're following the county boundary with Staffordshire. Next week we'll be skirting the edge of Staffordshire once again as we have a look at a place which can boast both a marina and a priory. That should be fun. I'll see you there, folks. Thanks for watching this video, folks. Don't forget to like this episode if you haven't already. It really makes a difference with YouTube. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel for more videos like this, and give us a share too if you've got friends who'd like it. You can find all the links to my social media accounts below, as well as my Buy Me a Coffee page where you can donate to the channel. Also, if you've enjoyed this episode, have a look at some more videos in this series. Until next time, I've been Andy, also known as the Village Idiot, and I'm out.